Hey, welcome to my first video. I thought that I would make a YouTube channel and create videos on my stock investing journey. I don't really have too many friends that invest into the stock market, so I thought this would be the best place or platform for me to do that. I currently have $7,681 in the market. I have split them between $3,000 into New Zealand shares and $5,000 roughly into American US tech stocks. Now I work in IT myself, and I can see how a lot of these technologies going forward are going to continue to grow in the future. In the short term, we could possibly see quite a lot of volatility with the US elections and a lot of other things going on in the world. But I think long term, a lot of these stocks are going to be pretty solid. So I'm just going to go through my stock portfolio now with you, so you can see what companies I invested into. So I spent 5,000 New Zealand dollars and I split it into 48 different companies in the US stock market. I think it was roughly $67 each. Now I invested in multiple things such as 3D printing, hardware, software, you name it. So I'm not going to go into the details of each company, but I'll go over some of the more notable companies and the reason why I invested into them. So most recently I invested into A2 Milk, which is on the New Zealand Stock Exchange. They have recently released their results, and I think a lot of people have viewed them as negative and proceeded to dump their stock. So we're looking here at $15.19 each share. If we look at the 6-month overview, we can see that they're down 10%. If we look at the 1-year overview, they're down 19%. But if we look at the 5-year, it's a 2,059% increase, which is incredible. I believe that their product is really good, and they definitely have their own little market there that can continue to grow, especially overseas in China and possibly other places around the world. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this stock performs into the future. We'll just move down here. You've probably seen quite a few of these names. This is another New Zealand company, just some penny stocks. Don't really have a plan there, but just thought that I'd put a spare $17 that I had lying around into those. We have Boeing here. I think that Boeing is actually going to continue to probably decrease over the next 6 to 12 months, possibly, but we will see an increase in revenue in coming years as different companies' fleets continue to age. I believe that their stock will definitely continue to grow. I think Caterpillar is a really good company as well. They hold quite a large market share of what they do, and if you go to a construction site, what type of diggers are you going to see there? They're most likely going to be Cat, and if you don't see Cat there, you're probably not even going to take notice of the other brands. So I definitely think that their brand is very recognized, and I think going forward into the future they'll continue to grow. So there's some more US tech stocks here. We have Chipotle Mexican Grill, which is a food franchise over in America. We have Coca-Cola. Obviously they're a proven business model. They've dropped a little bit, but I'd say they'll continue to grow into the future. Here we have another software company. We have Delta Airlines, F5 Networks. We have Fonterra here. I'm definitely going to be increasing my holdings here. Just look at the 5-year graph. They've obviously over the years performed very badly, but with their new chairman that's just come in, I definitely believe that they're going to increase their revenues and profits substantially and will be a very profitable share in the future. Another software company, news agency, Fox. They actually create what would you call it, like equipment for outdoor activities such as mountain biking, motocross. They also that's actually a lot of clothing and protective equipment, as well as shocks as well for mountain bikes. I think Fox will continue to grow as well. They're a large company, really well-known brand. They've got very good advertising. Garmin GPS systems, I think as the Internet of Things continues to grow and we become an ever-connected society, we're going to need more and more GPS, so that they're probably going to come out very well in the next 10, maybe even 5 years. General Motors, HP, Intel. So there's a lot of tech stocks here, but I've also invested into other industries as well, and to really well-known companies that I believe will continue to do quite well in the future. Here we have Katmandu. This is one of my biggest New Zealand holdings. Let's have a look. We've got a total return of $66, which is 5%. I think Katmandu is a very good company, and I really like their products. They've recently acquired Rip Curl, and they also have footwear over in the US, so they actually appeal to quite a big portion of the market, and I think they'll continue to grow. We have Microsoft, Monster, Netflix. A lot of these companies are just really well-known brands. I use a lot of them, or have seen them in use, or with the tech stocks, obviously I've seen a lot of the technologies being used by different companies because I work in IT myself. Now interestingly, we've got Seagate here, and you'll see further down we've also got Western Digital. I think I saw in the news recently that they believe that the storage industry is going to be around 90 billion in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that will continue to grow because big data is definitely a big issue, and our need for storage is ever increasing and will continue to increase. So I'm quite excited. I really hope there's some breakthrough technologies there and we can see some very cheap storage for home use, as well as for obviously enterprise use as well. Proto Labs, they do 3D printing, pretty cool company. I think 3D printing is going to probably do quite well in the future. Not exponentially crazy, but I do think that it's going to be more incorporated into a lot of businesses. Moving on, Six Flags, obviously with the current world, what would you call it, like the current issues going on in the world, I do think that Six Flags has taken quite a large hit. And if we look at the past year graph, you can see that they've definitely crashed off a lot. But I think as soon as the world opens back up again, we're going to see a massive influx of travel. Everyone's going to have that urge to travel. Everyone's going to be traveling, and I think it's going to bring a lot of money into that travel industry. We have $5 in this one, Spirit Airlines, but that's only because I had $5 left over. We have Spotify, Tesla. Now actually, interestingly with Tesla, I am quite a big Tesla fan, but I do believe that their stock is incredibly inflated. I do think they have amazing products, and they're probably going to continue to grow into the future and become a massive, massive company. As you can see here, their PE ratio is 1048 though. I think I may have missed the boat with this one. If we just look back around about here, they were $51 a share just over a year ago, and now they're up quite a lot. So if we look at the past year, they've gone up 819%. So I don't think having a large holding in that at this stage is a good idea. Maybe I'll wait for a price drop. Maybe I'll change my mind and just outright buy a bigger holding in them, but I'm not too sure at this stage. With this Tower Semiconductors, interestingly, we've seen a lot of issues with Huawei on the news, and the US trying to block them, along with other countries trying to block them and their technology. So I think other semiconductor manufacturers are probably going to do quite well going into the future. Booking.com, they'll probably continue to drop until we open our borders. Well, the world starts opening up to normal travel again. Virgin Galactica Holdings, they're actually looking at creating spaceflight technology for the general public. You'll be able to go out and purchase yourself a ticket and go up into space and experience zero G. I think that will be absolutely amazing, and once they actually have a final product, I think people are going to rush in there. It's going to be very expensive obviously, but it's definitely a once in a lifetime experience that a lot of people would look forward to trying out. Wendy's, love me some Wendy's. It's one of my favorite fast food drive-thrus, so of course I supported them by buying some of their shares. Western Digital, another storage company. As I said before, their market's going to continue to grow into the foreseeable future, and I look forward to seeing the results from them. So that's basically my stock portfolio. as mentioned, I bought 5,000 New Zealand dollars across the US stock market and almost $3,000 into the New Zealand stock market. I'm going to continue to contribute into this portfolio once a fortnight, maybe once a month, and I'll probably provide some updates through to you on YouTube. Looking across here, this is my returns. I have an estimated returns of $119 down, which is minus 1.5%. I'm not too worried. A lot of that would actually be in transaction fees, etc. But I can definitely see it recovering over the next coming months. Possibly, depends on the elections really, and what happens in the world with our current situation. But I'm very optimistic, and I think that the future is going to be very good for my portfolio. So if you really like this, or if you have any questions, just put them down below and I'll try and reply. Thanks, bye.